Just a quick note that this interview is brought to you by Talkspace, an amazing service that allows you to have therapy anytime. It's awesome that they're partnering with us to produce some of these interviews around mental health. Please stick around after the interview so that you can learn more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode in the series that I'm doing around mental health organizations and entities and work that's being done in the esports space. Of course, this is presented by Talkspace. I'm joined right now by Trisha from FlyQuest. How are you doing, Trisha?
I'm doing well. I don't know what I'm supposed to. Sorry. It's because Travis and I had this deep conversation before, but I'm doing well. I appreciate being here. Happy to be here. That's what I'm supposed to say.
Well, I think we were just both commenting, at least I was, on how it kind of feels like we're hanging in there recently. I think perhaps a lot of enthusiasm around LCS finals and different things, and certainly year two of the pandemic, even as things have lightened in some ways, I think it's still, there's a lot going on for everybody, yeah?
For sure. I obviously can't complain, but also it's been a little bit rough for me, if I must say so.
Yes.
that simple question, I was like,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so
I'm
true.
happy to be here, but we just had a deep conversation about some struggles.
Yes. And I think, honestly, one of the reasons why it's so nice to be doing content like this right now is just because, like, I think a lot of people are in this place right now, trying to figure out, how can they find a better mental state or cope with some of the stuff that they're going through or overcome it, etc. So one of the things I've been really excited to talk about in the series with you is just about the work that you guys have been doing over at FlyQuest around this. And so I know you guys have MEQUEST. I'd love to get into exactly what it is right now, or what it is in a short time, but at first I'd love to kind of hear what inspired this before we get into the specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of going back to that simple question, some of you who are seeing me the first time, like, dude, she didn't even know how she's doing. That's kind of where I'm at right now. It's hard to see where you are placed with so many things going on in the world, and it's good to reflect. And so Travis gave me the opportunity to reflect. We caught up before we started filming, and in a nutshell, like, MEQUEST was inspired because I'm sure, like, at least myself, I've been struggling this past year and even last year. COVID was and still is something that we're all processing, that we're going through. And it is tough to maintain strong mental health with so many unknown variables. And ultimately at FlyQuest, we want to showcase greatness, but to be real, it's really hard to showcase greatness when your perspective is skewed by negativity. And that is what actually inspired us to create this movement of MEQUEST, is create positivity, try to inspire people, motivate people, create a movement around mental health where we can talk about it, where we can encourage others, where we can share stories, where we can also talk about not just the cool results we're doing and like all the improvements we're making, but also be vulnerable and say, like, yeah, I'm doing, I don't know how I'm doing, what that means. I'm still unpackaging it myself, unpacking that. But yeah, it started from that. Like, that was the why, if you will. That was like the pain point we saw. And ultimately it was pairing up with Voidboy. Voidboy and I have known each other since, I don't know, since IPL 3. I don't know when that was.
Yeah.
So that's like
2010, 2011, I think.
Yeah,
a decade.
Yeah, a decade ago is when we first met, when I was hosting and he was at Curse. And I've always admired him. And I think that respect has been mutual. We've always tried to make other people happy, in our own way. And it was really important for me to make sure that if he joined FlyQuest, everyone looks at FlyQuest as a good guy and Voidboy as a good guy, and it's kind of a no-brainer. But I didn't want that to be the only reason he joined FlyQuest. I wanted to make sure it was impactful and that he wasn't just a streamer for us or talent or influencer, who just has his FlyQuest logo and tweets about us sometimes. I really wanted to make sure that we did something really special, especially given his background. So before he signed, I think we talked I can't remember now, but it had to be many weeks actually before we decided, okay, this is something we both mutually want to do, was if he joined FlyQuest, what is important to Voidboy? What quest would he like to do? Because we want to not just have him talk about whatever quest we're doing, whether it's tree quest, sea quest, but have him launch his own quest that FlyQuest and Voidboy can partner on. And what he talked about was all his many passions, and one thing that really stood out was mental health. That's something that he's always been, a tireless advocate for mental health awareness, and shared his story. And so that's something that we were really bought on too. I'm like, hell yeah, let's talk about mental health. It's so needed in esports. So from that, getting what he wanted to do, what was important to him, we created MEQUEST.
So it's an interesting thing, because I think a lot of people are probably familiar with the past, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years of the work that you guys have done, BQuest, TreeQuest, SeaQuest, and I think you earned a lot of love from the community for these types of things. And it is incredibly important, the environment and the world that we live in. So it makes a lot of sense. But when it's like, hey, we're going to go plant trees, people are like, oh, that feels nice. Yeah, cool. I'm going to hopefully they'll plant some trees from this game or whatever. It's a little different whenever it becomes like, look inside yourself and consider how happy you are and what you need to, it's like, oh boy, like we are ramping up now, thinking about ourselves and asking some deep, tougher questions, a little bit more intense, I think, than let's go plant some trees. And so I don't know if you guys had that conversation where it's like, okay, this is still an amazing initiative, but boy, are we heading into a deeper direction, I guess, in terms of, considering mental health.
Yeah, everything you're saying is so true, because one thing that, okay, we all agree. Everybody knows mental health is important, right? That's something we all know. It is hard to practice, even though we know it's important. And that's something that we definitely calculated was, how do we be respectful for this? And how do we do this better than anybody's done in esports before? Those are my legit words I told Voidboy. And when we were working together with some of the FlyQuest stuff, building this out before we presented it to Voidboy, like, is this something that you stood by, can stand by? Did this hit the mark? And we got his feedback, of course. But then when we were creating MEQUEST, the number one thing I told my team was, I don't want this to just be about mental health awareness. While that's super important, how can we do better? How can we really make this into a movement and get this involved? Like, one way that we could have approached this, and I think how most campaigns approach mental health, is if Voidboy were to do a charity stream, right? Raise awareness. And again, very important. I am not discrediting any of those efforts. But it would more look like he's streaming, we're all supporting Voidboy, he's talking about mental health awareness, we're cheering him on. And it's more of a one-way conversation, and that's how I explain it to the team, is that only goes so far, where you're like, that's great on Voidboy, let's celebrate this, let's get mental health awareness, but how do you get the community involved? And I've always been a big proponent of wanting to do things for the community, and it's like bear cups and things I used to do when I used to stream. And that was, how do we make this a movement where the conversation is two-way, where Voidboy sharing his things, FlyQuest, and Voidboy and FlyQuest, but on the other side is the community being able to participate. How do we motivate them? How do we make this where it's something that we all share? And I think that's a change that you've seen in 2021 FlyQuest. Like, 2020 was like Tree Quest, Sea Quest, FlyQuest is doing this stuff. The shift this year was, I want to make it where other people can be invited and involved, and it's more inclusive. So we approach MEQUEST that way, where we try to motivate people. Sometimes you can win cool stuff like Oculus, or we make it more fun. Because sometimes you need that little kick in the ass, or just like that extra motivation. Like, yes, we all know mental health is important. Yes, I would love to improve on myself and hit all of my goals, but it is hard. It is hard to stay on track. It is hard to stay motivated, even if you know it's good for you.
Yeah.
And so being able to have that support network was a big thing. So anybody who joins MEQUEST joins our Discord. They talk about it. You get to see other people's stories, how it helped them, where their struggles are, what their results have been. There's people who share themselves, like bench pressing so hard, and whether it's exercise or learning cooking or playing an instrument or whatever it is they want to do. It could be big or small, and it's genuinely helped not just I think our community from what we've seen, but even our players and our staff. Like even myself, I ever since we started MEQuest, I've been exercising diligently, and I gained a lot of weight in COVID. Let's like to be honest, and it's not like I haven't lost weight since I started, but I feel healthier. My clothes fit better, even though my weight hasn't changed, and I sometimes, at least for me, like it's not enough. This kind of sounds sad, but it's just the truth. But sometimes I'm not enough for myself to just do something that is good for myself. But because of MEQuest and we want to set a good example, and it's something that we've created like a movement where everyone can participate, that motivates me when I'm not motivated enough for myself, to have that support or do it for other people. And that's why we created it in the way we did, to
Well,
hopefully make it something everyone can join.
and I know we've talked a lot about sort of the benefits of it, but I know some people might not be familiar with what MEQuest is and how this program works for FlyQuest. So, if you could
Yeah.
mention sort of how it works, because I've seen it, and you're kind of picking categories, right? But I'm sure you can give the primer a lot better than I can.
Sure. So, what is MeQuest? We keep talking about this. MeQuest is a quest that we launched together with FlyQuest and Voidboy, who is leading MeQuest, and it's essentially a weekly action plan that focuses on recuperation, building healthy habits, or rebuilding healthy habits. Sometimes we go on and off, at least I do, and rededicating ourselves to the positive mental health that we all need. That we all need to just thrive and be our best shape. And like we said, it's proven popular so far. So we actually extended it. To be honest, when we first launched it, we're like, great, this is the quest. It's going to be like our side quest, if you will. Like we had B quest at the same time during our season, but we wanted to have a special one with Voidboy, and we launched MeQuest. But it was so successful, and we found it personally so helpful that now we're on phase 3. So every Friday is when people can update and you share. We do a MeQuest post like, how is it going? You go on our Twitter, you share what's going on, like a video or that, and it enters you in a giveaway. The giveaway is more for fun. Hopefully that's not why the only reason why you join MeQuest, but it's like extra fun incentive. The whole main purpose is join our community, have a safe place where you can talk about mental health, your struggles, and see progress, cheer on your friends. Maybe that week you don't participate, but if you see it enough, at least from what we found, is people want to join. They're like, wow, like I see this result from her and him, and you know, that's what we're trying to inspire.
And besides sort of the sharing with the community, what are the things people are doing? Like, if somebody wanted to participate in MeQuest, or they wanted to know like what the program is, how is that structured? What are you doing every week to participate in the MeQuest side of things?
Yeah, great question. So there's different categories we made. So, we're gamers and we try to make MeQuest fun because we're like, how do we gamify this uh, I guess this process that we sometimes see as a chore, we see as a job to take care of our mental health. How do we make this fun? So we created different categories that's like health, gratitude, and all these fun stuff. And within every single category, there's things you can do. So let's say I'm going to work on like my personal self. I will do something like maybe learning a language. One of the things I did was pick up Duolingo. I was like, I need a refresher on my Japanese, and even though I can speak, my reading and writing is poor. So how do I improve? So I got Duolingo. Something I'm focusing this week is nature. So I'm doing ikebana, which is a flower arrangement. I don't know if you can see in my back, but that's my flower
Kind
arrangement.
of. It might be a
Okay.
little cut off. Yeah.
Okay, so I did a flower arrangement, and it could be anything from just thinking of a friend, talking to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, a weight train goal. Somebody put like they wanted to hit plat, in league.
I saw
Um,
reading a book was on there
yeah,
too, like
reading
spending
a
some
book.
time
It can
reading
be
a book.
anything
Yeah.
from organizing your desk. Again, anything big or small. And we put all of these categories, not like those are the only things you can do, but to really help people as a guide. Like if this was a game, where do you start? Like, it's really hard to know where you start, especially when you're down. Like, yeah, everybody wants to lose weight. Okay, where do you start? Let's make a plan. So we made this easy with MeQuest. Like, how do we approach this mental health journey in a fun way? We put all these categories and made it fun, and then you can select one of the things out of the categories.
And so, what have you seen any of them that are in particularly popular with the community, with the gaming community? I don't know if there's one where you're like, oh, it's play a casual game, and it's like, wow, that's everyone's doing it every week or something.
The one that I see that's really popular and also amongst our players is the treat yourself to a good dinner.
Yes, yes.
I
Well,
feel like I've seen that for so many people to participate. That's like the one thing they pick. Usually we say like pick three categories or three things, and out of the it's always like eat a good meal.
yes. I have also gained weight during the COVID time, and so I perhaps I should stay away from that, and or maybe find a treat yourself to a healthy meal or something. Eat a salad.
Yeah, it could be a massage, a
Yeah.
bath.
Yes, yes. So I mean, I think that's one of the things that I saw about the program that I thought was really neat is that it's not. There are things on there that don't necessarily feel like a chore. Because like for some people, like working out, they're like, this is not going to help me necessarily, at least in the short term, or maybe it's like hard to get started just doing that. But there
Hmm.
are things that are like, set aside some time and like read or go talk to a friend for a while, that type of stuff that I think,
Stretch.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I think is really cool because then it becomes less of a like productivity checklist where you necessarily maybe you feel bad if you're like not doing something that is immediately contributing
Hmm.
to your health or like some sort of job or task that you have to do. But like so that's one of the things that I liked about it was that you guys had a lot of options there, because sometimes for some people it is literally just about finding the one thing to do and getting
Yeah.
yourself to do it, and feeling good about the fact that you accomplished it. So I think that that's one of the things that I've really liked about the program. You mentioned that there's a lot of people that are like talking about this in Discord. You guys have sort of created a community around this.
Yeah, we definitely have. So where people can do their updates. So we didn't want it just to live on Twitter. We invite people, and our Discord is wholesome in general, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
people just talk.
I
But
assume
MEQUEST.
FlyQuest pulls a lot of the non TSM fans. So let's put it that way.
But that's something like when we share it, we make sure that as a staff and players, we try to share our stories too to encourage them, because I think leading by example is really important. So even though I'm struggling, again, like those are the moments where the community has actually helped me a lot, because the times I'm not feeling it, I'm like, oh, I should do it. Like
Yeah,
and like you said, we intentionally thought of it in different categories because everybody's different. Like everybody recharges differently. Not everybody gets so psyched about working out, like what you said. Obviously there's definitely like physical health benefits and all that to working out and exercising and your cardiovascular, etc. But everybody recharges differently. So that's why we approach it as like get in touch with people, maybe if you're more extroverted, or whether it's mental or organization. I notice when I'm stressed, I clean. So if I'm cleaning a lot, that means I'm probably stressed. There's comfort, and that's where the food comes out. Like treat yourself to a good dinner or a bath. It could be just like whatever your hobby is, to just get back to your hobby. Some people like to play piano, and that just means like maybe spend 5 minutes doing piano. The physical too could be things like it doesn't have to be lose weight. It could be just go on a hike or
yeah,
do 10 squats. Everything is about starting somewhere. And for me, the category that I made sure was on there was gratitude, because that actually is the most helpful thing for my mental personally. So I wanted to make sure gratitude there, and gratitude is what I think Ikebana is categorized under there. That's
gotcha.
about like appreciating nature. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so cool. And I mean, it's been neat to see you guys do this, and I'm really happy that we had a chance to talk about it. And it's kind of an extended way. Is there where I guess we can kind of round out the conversation by just finding out like where can people learn about this or connect with it or really partner with it? I mean, I know you guys have tweeted about it, but where can people get involved?
Yeah, so just if you follow our socials on FlyQuest or join our Discord, you will actively see us talking about it. And some people talk about it regularly. If it's not every day, at least on Fridays. That's when we do our check ins. Another thing is we do try to mention it in our other content. So, as part of our MEQuest journey, I actually launched our Just Happy video series where I try to offer a daily dose of positivity. And I just get my favorite TikToks because I love TikTok, man. I love cute animals and things that make me happy. So what I do is I actually personally pick the TikToks that go on our just happies, and I save them all, and then I pick the ones that show, hopefully, because sometimes you just gotta appreciate other people, and people make amazing content. So we always make sure we give their credit, shout them out, and use our platform to show other things. And hopefully that's the timeline buff you get, like the positivity note on your timeline, because a lot of things are happening in the world. And so follow our socials on FlyQuest, and we constantly talk about it.
Thank you so much, Trisha, for the interview. It's been great to talk to you about this, and hopefully people that are watching this and feel like they would benefit from being involved in something like that can find you guys and really connect. So thank you again for the interview. For everyone
Thank
else,
you.
you
And
could...
thank you. You know what? Sorry, I have to say this. I'm totally interrupting Travis, but
No, you're good.
it's for a good reason. Travis is doing amazing work. I just wanted you to know. And your content has been enjoyable. And I know it's tough, but thank you for like letting us reflect and actually helping me in our initial conversation before we started recording. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
So I
of
just wanted to
course.
say that. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you. You could check your gratitude box for the day. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
feel I feel grateful for the gratitude you just showed me. So thank you so much for that. That was very nice of you. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that interview. It's been great to just talk a little bit more and focus more on some mental health topics on the channel, and we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for Talkspace supporting the content that we're doing around this. They are an amazing service that allows you to have therapy anytime. It is very intimidating sometimes whenever you go to try to hunt down a therapist or find somebody who can help you. But using Talkspace, you can actually just match directly with a therapist. They help you figure out somebody to speak with. And it's something that allows you to message at any point in time. You can write as much as you want, so whenever you feel you really need to speak with somebody, you can. And therapists are available 5 days a week to reply, so it's not something where you're scheduling an appointment and you're stuck around that. It's really therapy that you can talk to anybody anytime for. And so we have a really cool deal that we are doing in coordination with Talkspace right now that will save you a ton of money on your first month. So it really allows you to just give the service a try and see if you like it. There's a link in the description as well as the code, which is Travis, and you can use to sign up. Doing so really helps out the channel. And again, it's great to have Talkspace on board as a partner, helping us as we talk a little bit more about mental health stuff, because that's something that I think during these crazy times, a lot of us could probably use some support with. So again, thank you to Talkspace, and thank you all for giving them a try.